Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football. Oh, it didn't get the fairy tale ending, did we? It didn't happen. They fell short, lost to Spain. Spain with a much better team over the whole tournament and in the final. God, long broadcast.
Very long.
Emotional.
Can we talk about our attire?
Draining.
Though? I've come suited and booted.
Here, but you couldn't...
You two look ridiculous.
Got a T-shirt on.
Shocking. You're better than that. It's our last pod. Give the people what they want. Suited and booted.
Is that what they want, is it?
Oh, it's marvellous.
All right.
My fit tonight was outstanding.
I must admit, I love the...
Tom Sweeney.
Olive green.
Olive green, yeah.
Nice.
The highlight of the night, actually. You just couldn't be asked to change into your
No,
T-shirt.
I couldn't.
We're all a bit down, weren't we? I mean, come on.
Of course we were down. I mean, if you look at the tournament throughout, I think it was more in our hearts, wasn't it? I think
You say that now. There's a lot of hearts behind you
No.
as well. We've got
All right, guys, how we doing?
We've got a full house here.
Yes, lads.
We've got a lot of England fans, a lot of disappointing England fans in here. Friends of producer John, mostly. One or two other people as well.
John has friends then, eh?
George has turned up, my son. But yeah, we're all a bit down.
Yeah, of course we're down. I think if you look at Spain throughout the tournament, and Al's mentioned it a lot, haven't you, in terms of they look like the best team in terms of the rotations, their...
Aggressive, forward-thinking football.
No, but their ideas in what they wanted to do. They played 4-3-3 with two wingers who knew exactly what they needed to do. Williams and Yamal, who were outstanding. I think in terms of young players coming into the tournament with a big reputation, was thinking, could they deliver? And they really did deliver. I thought Morata up front was outstanding. Not in terms of his goals, but his work rate for the team, running in behind, that we missed with Kane on the other side. Rodri in midfield. I banged on about Rodri all season. In terms of defensive midfielder, there's no one even close to him.
Agree.
His partner, Fabian Ruiz, alongside him. A little bit more technical.
Just Fabian, they call it. Just Fabian.
No, Fabian Ruiz.
Ruiz.
Ruiz?
No, they call him Fabian in Spain. They were going, what's this Fabian Ruiz thing?
Okay, well, that's
Might
on
have
his
to
shirt,
stick
so...
fucking Fabian, it's easier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Says the Geordie.
You're obviously struggling to get root in.
Oh, Fabian Ruiz. Is that
Clarice,
better?
no.
So do you roll the tongue like that, guys?
Go on.
Fabian Ruiz.
Clarice, no.
Ruiz.
Ruiz.
Look, that's an L.
Is it,
That's like Fergie.
do it one
he
more
says
time.
that,
Do it one more
doesn't
time. Go on.
he? Ruiz.
Ruiz.
No, that's not it.
That wasn't it, wasn't it?
This is the most fun I've had tonight.
Fabian.
Right, Al, thoughts? I mean, we spoke after the game.
We didn't deserve to get anything. We didn't play well. We were flat.
Deep.
There hasn't been one full 90 minutes where we can go, yeah, we played really well.
No. Semi-final for half.
Semi-final for half a game.
Yes, Netherlands.
First game for 30 minutes. And other than that, we've just produced really spectacular moments at the right time without really playing well. Now, strengths have been that and also finding a way and sticking together and all of those things. But in reality, we didn't deserve anything. We got the best team won by a mile. They won 7 out of 7. They didn't change their system hardly. Even when players went out, it's the players that came in knew what they were doing. They press really well. They've got two outstanding talent in terms of Yamal and Williams either side. They've got two amazing midfielders.
Yeah.
And one of them went off. They didn't miss him at all.
I must admit, when Rodri went off at half time, I thought, blimey, we've had some luck in this tournament, and now it's happening again.
Yeah.
And then they go and bang one in within, 90 seconds or 2 minutes?
But we just didn't. We were flat again, and even when we had the ball, we just kept on giving it away. Our passing
What's the
wasn't
biggest
good
problem
enough.
then, Al? What is the problem? We've talked about players.
Well, the problem is that
we've got the players.
The only time we tried to really attack was when we went 1-0 down.
Correct.
I mean,
That's
for the
the same
four
every
four
game,
games.
Alan.
I know
Every
it is,
game.
yeah. I
Yeah,
know
but are
it
we
is.
expecting too much from Southgate because he's a defensive manager? He's got talent in his squad in offensive positions now where we're expecting, because of the season they had for their clubs, but they all follow a system which works for them.
And it's different to
And
what
it's
they
different in international football. So have we been a little bit naive expecting great things from England because
No, we haven't been
England
that.
today.
We haven't been
We're
naive and,
poor.
and expecting England to do better than they have done in terms of performance-wise.
I think we've got to be fair. Gareth Southgate has come in and transformed the way the English team is perceived by the public, the media, and I think he was the right man at the right time. But I think this emergence of young, exciting, forward-thinking footballers that are all playing high-pressing football for their clubs, and I think that's probably not suited him, and he's not suited them, and they looked a little bit lost, and they were disjointed. And we were quite critical early on in the tournament, and we got,
Bit of blowback.
I don't think we did from inside the camp. I think we were basically used a little bit by the media to try and drive a wedge between us at the BBC and the team, and I think it was a bit naughty.
We didn't see anything that the players or the manager didn't
Correct.
see. They acknowledged that they hadn't played well.
Well, when
and
we
they
walked
found
off,
it
when we
difficult.
walked off the pitch today, we bumped into quite a few of the English players, and they were all absolutely understanding, and they were disappointed, they were despondent. I won't name any names because it's not fair, but they were. You could tell they weren't happy with perhaps the way things went. I think the only time we've seen England in this tournament play really attacking, aggressive football, is when they've been behind, with the exception of perhaps a couple of first halves in games, Netherlands, that perhaps stood out. But mostly they were sitting back and cautious. And even when it went to 1-1 and you thought, blimey, we were really going at them. Palmer scores that wonderful goal. Brilliant bit of football, wasn't it? And then you think, right, press on. But no, they started sitting again.
But what is that? Is that the manager? Is that a tactical thing?
Well, let's put it this way. I think it was just before the goal was scored. What was it, around 84 minutes, 85 minutes? On the sideline, coming on were Conor Gallagher and Kieran Trippier. And that to me says it all. If you're 2-1 up with 4 minutes to go, maybe. But what's he thinking there? Is he thinking he's shoring it up because he's a bit worried about them?
Well, I think he probably thinks at that time the game's going to extra time. So he's thinking Luke Shaw,
I can understand Trippier. That was obvious.
Trippier
but
one, that's the pretty obvious one because he hasn't played a lot of football. So
Yeah.
I sort of understood that one.
Gallagher.
But the Gallagher one, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure who he was going to actually come on for anyway.
Well, it would have been either Foden or Bellingham. He's not going to bring Bellingham off, probably.
Yeah, but Bellingham wasn't happy either. Bellingham was stuck on the left again.
He wasn't happy. No, he wasn't.
You could tell he wasn't happy at all. He had a disappointment look about him. His arms were up. He was looking towards the bench for guidance and
I think he was
to
exasperated.
say things
mate.
weren't going as well, and he wasn't happy with lack of press and everything else. He was showing all of those emotions. I could see it. I was looking at him all the time. He
But
was
do you not
showing
think
it to
that's
the
the
bench.
frustrations of a great player that's had an incredibly successful season going, why is this happening?
Well, he's
Why
not
are
a
we
left.
playing
He's
this
not a
way?
left midfielder.
No,
is
he's
he?
not. No.
And so I sort of understood his frustrations.
Why do you think it was odd that he drifted away from the box that had been successful and suddenly went, oh, I'm too worried about the left hand side, so I want Bellingham to track back.
I was really surprised that he went back to the 4 because our best 45 minutes of football of the whole of the tournament was against the Netherlands in the first half with playing 3 at the back, 2 wing backs.
Correct.
Albeit Trippier was on one side and didn't get the ball into the boxes perhaps. But I would never ever blame him for that. So when he brought Shaw back in, which we all thought that he would do, just because what we've been seeing all tournament is a lack of balance down the left-hand side. So when the opportunity arose that he's played 45 and he's obviously fit to start a game, I thought, yeah, he'll put him back in. But I thought he would have just gone like for that system again,
I was shocked he didn't do it. I mean, I couldn't get my head round it. It just seemed he went back to a system that just did not work.
No. Because it's clear that Bellingham and Foden don't want to play left on that in the other
And this
4.
time he shifted Bellingham on there, and then they ended up being basically playing our final third.
To be honest, sir, I think whatever formation would have played against Spain, they would have battered us.
Really?
I'm being totally honest. I think they can adapt to any situation. The way they keep the ball. In the first half, they had 70% possession. What are you supposed to do with that? They keep the ball.
Well, I'm not surprised they had it, because to stop Spain, you're going to need energy and you're going to need press yourself.
But we still have players on the pitch who can keep the ball, though.
But what
Do you not just think we just stood off them and watched them and admired them and thinking,
too much respect.
I was like thinking, fucking hell. All right, they're a very good team. They're with some very good players who all know the system. But to beat that team, you're going to have to get wired in a little bit and get closer to them rather than just let them pass it around at their pace and let them control the game.
I thought they just tactically were much better. That's what I felt all through the game. And you have to say what you think. If you go individual right around the team, you go, how many players would you put in realistically in their normal form and the way they play for clubs? And I think we've basically had players that play in a certain way for their football clubs, and they're then being asked to play in a completely different way. Or it seems to me, if they're not, then they've underperformed and they've not been able to stand up to the occasion.
But I think the players have to take some responsibility for that too.
Of course, but take, for example, Cucurella. He's had a really tough time at Chelsea, and he's come here and people are going, "Oh, Cucurella, some people are doubting him." But he was like a machine in this team.
He was good at Brighton, though.
Exactly, that's my point.
In a system.
If you're comfortable in a certain system and playing a certain way, and then you're asked to play in a different way, like perhaps he's been at Chelsea because the club's a bit of a mess, then suddenly you're uncomfortable. You don't feel like I don't understand what my job is. And then I think England suddenly found a little way of playing with the box in midfield, and it was better, much better. And then to go back to a system that didn't work was odd, really odd. And it may not have made any difference anyway, but it might have done. We'll never know.
In our starting lineup today, we had, apparently we've been told, we had the best player in England, the best player in Spain.
Well, they're facts, aren't they?
Facts.
Right, okay. Then add John Stones to that. Then add Micah Saka to that.
I would say John Stones had a really good tournament.
No, what I'm saying is, with the talent, when you say we've got the best player in Germany, Spain, and England, add John Stones, add Micah Saka, add the goalkeeper who's had a good tournament. Again,
2 great saves in the final, particularly one.
Gay's been the best, though.
Gay's
good,
been so good.
Out of all the players in the tournament, he's been the most consistent. We missed him for a game. Konza come in.
We've been a moments team. We haven't been a good team. We've been a moments team who found that right moment at the particular time and the togetherness and all of that. But we haven't played well for long enough.
Should we talk about the broadcast?
I think we should. You guys have done a lot of tournaments now. How
times I've had to.
How do you gauge the mood, though? How do you get the balance right?
You know what the mood is after that game.
So how do you? We've got 45 minutes.
It's the worst part of broadcasting night you ever do.
Our editor, Rich, got us 45 minutes at the end?
45 minutes.
Was it,
He's over there.
45 minutes.
45 minutes we had. But when England lose, it's the most difficult piece of television because everyone at home is down. We're down, but also we've got to lift it and try and, be fair and give. And it was lovely to have Juan Mata there because it gave us someone to go to kind of lift the spirits a little bit. And what a lovely guy. And he was,
that's his first show, isn't
ever
it?
Go at Punditry.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was amazing.
He's good, likeable, knowledgeable.
Knows the game.
Yeah.
When you've won a World Cup or the Euros, come on.
Well, I know. He's a proper player, proper bloke. Really good. Really enjoyed his company. So that helped. But it's hard, isn't it? At the end, the final whistle goes and you're thinking, you've got all sorts of things ready if England win. And it's like... Did you have a closing line? Do you want to do your closing line? No, hell.
No?
It'll have to wait for 2 years.
How long did it take writing that closing line? Or did you get a bit of help from our editor, Rich?
We script together, Rich and me.
Oh, okay.
We did
double team.
What was what did I miss in there? I wasn't listening to all.
You'll
that
never hear it, Al.
Open up your ears.
It will never. It will never surface.
Pardon?
I tell you what, he does that joke at least 3 times a day. Every time.
Dad jokes. Honestly.
At least he's cheered the mood of everyone in the room because we're all a bit down. We're all a bit down.
Somber.
And it's a little bit like that when you do the last 45 minutes because most people, if you lose this, kind of stop watching because everyone's kind of depressed.
My pal who's staying with me in the room.
Wow.
In your room now?
In my room, yeah. My mate's staying with me.
Tell us more.
Hear me out. Peter. I don't know whether he's here or not, but he's. I can hear this noise going on. Anyway, he's got up to go to the loo. He's gone to the loo, and
did he wake you up?
I've sort of shouted. I've sort of shouted over. I said, "You all right?" He goes, "Have you heard about Trump?"
Oh yeah.
I went, "No, what's happened?" He goes, "He's been shot in the ear." I said, "What?" He said, "He's been shot in the ear." I said, "What?" He said, "He's been shot in the ear." I went, "Oh, fuck off." 4:30 this morning.
Oh, dear.
We have to discuss Harry Kane.
Well, that was part of the future in my mind was what England do, what does Harry Kane do? He was not himself in this tournament.
For what reason do you
He still
think?
scored 3 goals. I don't know. He's in his 30s now, Micah. When I got to 30, 31, my legs started to go. I retired from international football at 32 because I knew at 31 that was happening. And it's horrible. It's horrible. And it might not be the case, but he looked a bit leggy in this tournament.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't as sharp as he could have and should have been. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but normally his brain is a step ahead.
It still is. He's also an unbelievably good finisher, and that you don't lose. You give me a ball now, and I could still miss. But he's still a good finisher, and he's won part of a golden boot with 6 players, with 3 goals. But his contribution. What's he got? 1 touch in the box in the last 2 major finals.
Yeah,
it's not all his fault because the team played very deep, and that's the kind of way England have played. But he's been great. He's the all-time leading goal scorer for England. He would have beaten Alan Shearer's record quite comfortably if he'd have stayed in the Premier League.
He might come back.
Might come back.
It's a decision that either he will make or the new...
How many goals have you got, Alan?
Fucking loads.
Loads. How many? 260 and
Correct.
counting.
Micah, I bet Pete knows.
Hey, don't you know Pete?
On a serious point, I mean, he's been laboured in this tournament. He's struggled a little bit. He's not managed to get behind defenders at all. Now, I know it's never really been his game to run behind, but you've seen it to a degree in his career. And I know at Tottenham he had Son, even Dele Alli when he was at his best, running beyond him. And even at Bayern Munich now, people say, well, crikey, he scored 1 million goals there this season. But, he'd have Musiala on one side and Sane on the other side.
And Coleman.
And yeah, those kind of legs that can sprint behind, which you've got to have with him because he does like to drop into midfield. But
you have to play him. There was not one moment during this competition that I ever thought he should have been left out.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that, and this is not in hindsight because I said it before and during the tournament, that if you're going to play him, you have to have legs. Now, we've got legs on the right-hand side in Saka.
You're going to mention Anthony Gordon.
Yeah,
quite
absolutely,
right.
yeah. And, I mean, Anthony Gordon got 6 minutes, maybe, something
I
like
saw
that.
Anthony Gordon after the game. I said to him briefly, I said, I feel for you in this tournament. I think you should have got more minutes. And he was very kind. He went, yeah. And I went, but don't worry, you will get more chances. It will happen for you. He's very young.
There's no way you can ever drop your captain on your record goal scorer and a guy who's on 3 goals without playing particularly well.
Yeah, it's difficult.
So it's impossible. It's not. I mean, you couldn't do it, and I wouldn't have done it. I would have kept him in the team, but I would have had more legs in and around him to run past him because you just said it. He's a great goal scorer and always will be a great goal
and
scorer.
he's been a great player and he's a great
look at the
guy.
season he had, man. You can't. It's like, but he didn't look right.
Yeah.
Whether he's carrying injury or something like that.
I will compare it a little bit to my final tournament, and I told you before that I felt during that last season, which was one of the reasons I made the decision to retire from international football and finish English football to move to Japan, because I could feel my legs going. And I was poor in that last, and I was made a bit of a kind of martyr because Graham Taylor brought me off, but he had every right to bring me off because I was past my best. And it happens to some people at some point. Now, maybe he was just tired or carrying a little something that affected him, and that might not be the case. But I wonder, what is he, 30, coming up to 31 now?
Yeah.
And that's exactly the time when I started to feel that way. And I was perhaps a player that relied more on his pace than Harry, so it was had a bigger effect on me. And he's still going to be able to score loads of goals because he's...
But in his defence, though, I'm
defending him.
We got Saka coming off the right onto his left foot. Then Bellingham was on the left today. As a striker, he never knows when the ball's going to come in.
But he wasn't
into
in the box.
the box.
He wasn't.
But is that because
wasn't in the box,
is that because of the positions of the rest of the team?
Yeah. No.
When we talked about in Bayern, he can go a little bit deeper, but your wingers are going to stay nice and high and wide, and they're going to look to cross the ball into whether it's a cutback, whether it's in the box, whether it's a tap in, whatever it may be. Sometimes I find with England, it takes too long to get. Saka wants to come on his left foot. Brilliant. And the first thing he's thinking about is shooting.
The main problem is the team is too deep, right? That is the main problem. Therefore, it's more of a problem for Harry Kane. So I feel for him. If the team plays high and everybody presses high, but he has to press as well, which he's not done. But that, for me, is probably coming from the management. So the team did not play high. The only time they play high is when they're losing and they have to chase it. It happened again today. We go 1-0 down after half-time, and then suddenly you go, oh, actually, we're quite good. And we played forward, and England were attacking, and they created a couple of chances before Cole Palmer's bit of brilliance.
Well, Ollie Watkins came on again,
and he started stretching
for the first
which
time
helped as well.
Someone ran in behind, and then all of a sudden, what then happens is the defenders get 10 or 15 yards further up the pitch, midfielders get 10 or 15 yards, and then all of a sudden you're forcing Spain to kick it long, and then you get the ball back.
But what happened, Alan, when we went 1-1?
We sat back.
Sat back again.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that's coming. That can't be necessarily coming from management. But I think what happens is they've got a tactical shape. But I think when they go behind, it's like, my God, we've just got to go for it and take risks rather than be cautious.
Yeah, but I would have put a little bit down to Cole Palmer went to press, didn't he? And he was too late. And the gap in the middle of the pitch. I mean, we could talk about England being defensive, which they were.
But that's because, Micah, you all go or you don't go.
Of course, I agree with that. But, I mean, what was it? 86 minutes? Just hang on to what you've got, get it to extra time, and then you go again. There's a big, massive gap in the middle of the pitch against a team. What did I say about Spain? If you give them a chance, they will hurt you.
They're good.
Ayatabal comes on.
Do you know when you have a look at who they've played? Croatia, Italy, Germany,
France,
and England.
I know. They've beaten four World Cup winners.
All the big teams who you thought they might have a chance. They're the favourites. They're the second favourites. Germany on home soil, they've beaten everyone. So by an absolute mile, they've been the best team.
Yeah, agreed. Well played, Spain. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely.
We have to give them credit, don't we?
Loads of credit. They were brilliant in this tournament.
Who stood out for you?
And I think the whole team.
Spain?
I mean, come on, Yamal.
Yamal.
He was 17 yesterday.
It's not normal.
Do you know what it is though? And also the way they play, because they've scored 15 goals, which is a record.
Yeah.
So they've defended really well, they've attacked really well, they've pressed really well, and everyone knows their roles. Everyone looked, even when one went out suspended, Carvajal missed the semi-final.
Yeah. Pedri gets injured.
Yeah,
They're bringing Olmo, Leipzig,
exactly.
full of energy.
23 successive finals for club or country without being beaten, winning them all. I mean, that's nuts, isn't it? 23 consecutive wins in finals.
We've got to give
for Spanish
credit
teams
to
or international teams.
De La Fuente.
Luis de la Fuente. Yeah.
De La Fuente.
Loads of credit.
We talked about him had success at, was it 19s and 21s, I believe?
Yes, it was.
Right.
Yes, it was.
19s and 21s. And to go to men's football and play the way
when
he
got
wanted
his job,
to.
a lot of people in Spain going, "Oh, it's a different game." It's like now you've got to manage men, you've managed boys, you manage youth team players. But he's obviously taken a lot of them in. He's stuck with the same
Trusted
way of playing.
them.
Trusted them, played bravely. Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is, though? Seriously, this is a triumph for attacking football over negative defensive football. And that is a good thing. And I'm getting lots of, yes, I agree, it's over there.
No, but it's easy. Yeah. It's easy to say that, isn't it? I agree with you. We all want to see attacking football.
But I think that's the way the game's gone now. We've seen caution in this tournament, but the team that's played without caution.
Yeah, but France have won what they've won previously.
Previously, though.
Caution. Real Madrid won the Champions League. They got absolutely battered by Man City. And Man City
they were
lost
lucky.
They were lucky, but they still won, didn't they?
But that can still happen.
Yeah,
but
they won.
Overall,
When you
Yeah,
win.
but what I'm trying to say, there's still two ways of winning. You can be, I won't say Real Madrid's football's negative, but they just find a way to win
it's
in
different.
moments.
It's not. They don't play. They don't just sit really deep. I mean, they don't.
France stunk the place out, by the way, in terms of how bad they were.
Correct.
No, I just think genuinely, it's what we want as football fans, as people that have been involved in the sport forever, is you want the sport to be entertaining and popular. And to keep that, I think it's important that the teams playing that way do win out. We've seen it in the Premier League now. I think the front foot teams, City,
Yeah, but you know
Arsenal,
what it is, though?
Liverpool.
If England had a won tonight, no one would have given a shit about entertaining front foot football.
That's very true. That's very true. But I'm trying to make a point on behalf of Spain. And the fact is, they completely outplayed England, playing that way. If England are to compete and win a major tournament, they've got to get on the front foot and play the game that the players play for their clubs.
They completely outplayed everyone.
Yeah,
France, Italy, Croatia, Germany, England.
It's getting better though. At least we got to two finals, two Euro finals, a semi-final. I think St George's Park has been massive in terms of, if you look at the footballers we're producing now, technical footballers, Cole Palmer, Foden, Saka, even Gordon has done really well. But the big question mark for me would be, are we producing English managers? And you talk about we want to go forward with Southgate. Who would be next in line? And that is the question.
Firstly, we should say, do you think Gareth will call it a day? I can't imagine that he would carry on now. I think it'd be very hard. It must have been.
I think before we say anything, we will need to look at the big picture. He took over an absolute shit show.
Correct.
When we were done off Iceland, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's taken us from rock bottom to where we are now, where we now expect to be in finals and semi-finals.
So we should, though. With the players we have.
Hear me out. We've got some really good players who all play different roles at their football clubs. But he's got a better squad now than he's ever had. He's got a better squad than he had 3 years ago when he took us to the final of the Euros. So the expectations gone from zero, from there now to there. And he hasn't been able to deliver that England getting over the line. So I think, and my guess is that he'll say, thank you very much. I've taken this team as far as I can. I'm going to hand it over to someone else now. And he deserves great respect.
Correct.
He deserves, if he goes on his terms. And you just say, thanks for the memories, thanks for the great memories, and good luck in the future, whatever you do. And you've done a really, really good job.
Yeah, what he's unquestionably done is he's brought the team closer to the public again. After a period of time when there was no love for the national team when he took over. And I think he's built a togetherness, and he's brought harmony to the players and a togetherness that I think we've not had for quite some time. And his record is really, really good without actually quite winning something. I think that mentally, I think it's tough being England manager. It's always been called the impossible job, hasn't it? It's only not the impossible job if you win a tournament, and he's been close.
Yeah, but how do you measure success?
Yeah. Well,
like I think
improvement.
I think as
So there's
a
a degree of
major,
success.
yes, there's been improvement, but surely we're all ex-footballers. You need to win.
Exactly.
You need to win. So for all the great things he's done up till now, he deserves respect.
Yeah.
But with the team we had in this tournament, like look at the Spain team. It's full of youngsters. It's a whole new way of playing. They've come to the tournament and they believe they could win it. Today, when I was watching England, it was almost like there was just waiting for an individual to pull us out of the shit.
Well, we were a moments team. That's what I just said. We weren't a great footballing
that's
team.
the whole point. We shouldn't be a moments team with the squad we have.
I agree, yeah.
As Englishmen, we have this mentality because if we get to a final, we've done brilliant. Yes, it's great, but what do we need to do to get over the line? That is the difference.
Do you think it needs someone else now?
I asked one.
Because when he
Micah.
took over, we were an underdog team, and now, given the players that they've got, they're not. Does it need a different person to take them on from here?
I think we need an attacking manager who is willing to take risks. And even if we get to a quarterfinal or a semi-final, the World Cup coming up next, and we lose, but we have an identity that we can all get behind going forward. At this moment with England, we're just hanging our hats on individual brilliance to get us through. And there's no way, yes, Rodri and Fabian in midfield, world-class players. At the back, I would take probably 7 or 8 players from the England side against Spain tonight. Yeah. And we're talking now, like, we've done well to get to the final. Yes, he has done well, but football's about winning.
Yeah.
And that is the key. We need to get out of this mentality of just getting to a final. It's good enough.
Yeah.
We need to move forward from that. And until we get out of that mindset, we will never win anything.
Well, we got... if you're going to win a tournament, you need to have a little bit of luck here and there. But I don't think Spain... No, but Spain didn't really have any luck, really. They were just outright the best team, you know? But we did have a little bit of luck to get there ourselves. We did have magic moments. But we just weren't good enough. Disappointing.
You talk about it's about winning. But against the top teams, and his record against the top 10 teams is that they've won 7 of the last 29 games against the strong sides. Now, I think we want to be respectful for Gareth. I think he's done wonders for England, for the football, and brought us together. But now I think we're talking about who takes us on. And I'm fairly convinced that Gareth will.
But no one's questioning what Gareth has brought in terms of
I know that,
the chemistry and
I understand
the harmony.
all that.
We're talking about tactically. The game has moved on.
That's my point. So I think he's been the right person to bring the nation together in terms of the football team. And now maybe it's time for someone else with a more modern attacking style of football, because I think the game's gone away from being successful if you really defend.
If we didn't have the players we have in offensive positions, I'd say Gareth's the right person for the job. Because
that's my
defensively,
point. So who next?
That's what's been very good for England the past.
Who next? Do you go English? There's only really Eddie Howe.
Well,
Stop it!
Say Gareth does call it a day, which I suspect he was, because it must be so tough, must be so demanding, so hard. Who would you go for? Eddie Howe?
Well, there's no doubt he'll be in the betting because he's done a great job at Newcastle.
If you go English, we mentioned Frank Lampard, but wouldn't you go all out for Jurgen Klopp?
I'd go one bigger, Pep.
But do you think there's a lot of yeps in the
Yes.
background? I think we'd all love Pep, but do you realistically think Pep?
Why not?
I don't know, because Klopp's
When he's
kind of
ready
been
to-
out of a job. He'll have a bit of a rest.
Do you really think
When Pep's
England would
ready
go for a
to-
German manager?
Yeah, but he's not really German. He's half German, isn't he? Because he's been in England for so long.
Oh, really? Okay.
All right, why go to a Spanish manager? Do you
Well,
think
they wouldn't.
Pep
I
would do
wouldn't.
it and
No,
then
I
take
mean,
on
I
his
don't want
name?
Pep to leave City, but I'm saying if he ever did, I would love to have him.
The thing is, club managers are paid an awful lot of money, you know. An awful lot of money. I can't see the FA stumping up that kind of cash.
He was a club manager, Newcastle.
10 minutes.
Well, I was back
Wow.
Pete, don't laugh, Pete.
Wages have gone up since I was a manager.
What was you getting at Newcastle? Go
Not
on.
enough.
Spill the beans.
2009 that was.
And what was you getting then?
Not enough.
So what do you think? I mean, it's slightly unfair because obviously Gareth.
Well, you just described how Spain have gone from where they left to how they've gone to. They had a guy who's gone through the system.
Well, that's just
And
what
it was-
Gareth did
and
as
it
well,
was
in a
all-
way.
And Gareth did that, and it was all. You said it was a bit underwhelming, and he's gone on to manage these group of players and then win the Euros. So.
I didn't say it was underwhelming. A lot
Well,
of
it's-
Spanish fans said it was underwhelming at the time.
I'm for England and English managers.
Potter, you don't want Eddie Howe to leave Newcastle.
Well, I don't want Eddie Howe,
But
but
there's
I think
a
he
lot
would be the
going on at
outstanding.
Newcastle at
I
the
would
moment,
be the
Alan, isn't there?
outstanding candidate. There's a lot going on at Newcastle. Like the guys who appointed Eddie, have now left.
Yep.
Um,
And he's a front foot manager. He's young.
Yeah.
He's got a real energy to his football.
No, he has. He would without doubt be an outstanding candidate. But we wouldn't want to lose him at Newcastle.
That's a problem. I talked about producing English managers. I don't think English managers won the Premier League, have they?
That's why aren't we producing English coaches?
And that is the thing.
You know, there was a period where there were a lot of Scottish coaches, and that's kind of faded away a little bit. But it's not.
I don't think the fans would matter. Whoever.
I think what it is, I think because we have, we were traditionally a country that played a different kind of football to everyone else. It was up and at 'em, direct, long ball, and all that stuff. And most of our relatively successful coaches played that kind of style. Whereas we've started to produce players that have got, much more technical, much more tactical, much more really comfortable on the ball, and that's evolved. I think what will evolve next is the managers that can coach that. But the people like Eddie Howe, maybe Graham Potter, are those. I guess we'll see. But first, it's up to Gareth Southgate.
He deserves to call it how he wants it.
I agree.
I
with
think
that.
he's certainly earned that respect and what he's done in the job, where he's taken us. And if he were to leave, which I think he will,
Yeah, I think the same.
then we say thank you very much, shake his hand,
Yeah.
say well done, thank you, because you've done a really, really good job. Now it's on to someone else.
Totally echo those sentiments.
What opportunities for the next manager?
I think
What
it's
an
an
opportunity.
unbelievable opportunity
Exactly.
because the talent, the pool of talent that England now have in terms of players, is a great job for someone coming in to go and chase that World Cup in 2 years' time.
Bring it on, it's coming home.
Well, can I just say, it's been a great tournament. I know it didn't end the way we wanted, but I've had a blast. All the people at the BBC, from Rich,
Over there.
the editor,
Yes, Rich.
has been absolutely
Best in the business.
fantastic. Really
Colin the
helped
producer.
us. Colin,
Column.
the producer. The runners, the analysis guys,
Whitey.
Whitey, the floor
Tim, White
manager,
and Tim around the corner back there, I think somewhere.
Biggers.
Biggers,
All the guys who looked after me on core comms.
Yeah, your analysis
Absolutely
team. The analysis team.
They're
at the
brilliant.
BBC.
We've got a really good analysis team.
yeah.
We've got
And to
3 or 4
thank
really
you
good
guys as well, that the rest is football. Harry, John, Vasco are here today.
Yeah.
And whatever
Guys
you,
coming to see. Georgie boy. You brought the crowd. You brought the vibes. And
and whatever you do, guys, do not fucking contact me because I'm on holiday.
I think we need a break. That's it from The Rest is Football. Thank you so much. Genuinely, thank you so much. We've basically done a pod a day during the whole tournament.
We've had a laugh, haven't we? It's been good, hasn't it?
It's been fun. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a good summer and see you in August sometime.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.